Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, now here I am with another retro wrestling review. And with it being December, I figured that I would review a retro Armageddon pay-per-view. And so I decided to review Armageddon 2003. So, overall, this pay-per-view, it is pretty mediocre. I mean, just like really all of Raw's pay-per-views in 2003. I mean, yeah, the three Raw pay-per-views in 2003 were all like pretty mediocre to be honest. I mean, I guess it's like for reasons like this why there are some people that say that SmackDown really was better than Raw in 2003 because yeah, SmackDown definitely did have like better pay-per-views in 2003 than Raw did. And yeah, like I have said before, like it really depends on what you were looking for with really what you want with the WWE. I mean, if you're looking for like better in-ring action and stuff, then SmackDown was better. But if you're looking for like a lot of darker material and edgy material and stuff, then that's what Raw did better. But yeah, overall, like as wrestling quality goes, I mean, well, it's not really like wrestling quality, but in terms of like just the qualities of the show, yeah, the Raw really with their pay-per-views were pretty mediocre. And yeah, and along with that, like Armageddon historically really hasn't been like that. Really wasn't that good of a pay per view. I mean, yeah, historically, like Armageddon really was pretty bad. Had in its history. I mean, yeah, I mean, in like Armageddon's last few years, like it did get like pretty good. Like the last few Armageddon pay per views were like pretty good, I guess. But just historically, Armageddon just really isn't one of WWE's best pay per views. So, and yeah, this pay-per-view just really is no exception. Like, this overall is a pretty mediocre pay-per-view. But, yeah, and yeah, and there's really, like, nothing like on the show that really does stand out. But something that this show really is memorable for is, like, pretty much, like, it's known as the Evolution pay-per-view. Because on this pay-per-view, like, all the members of Evolution became the champions. So, yeah, that's really the one thing that this pay-per-view really seems to be well known for. Because, yeah, we have, like, the members of Evolution, like, winning all the championships. So, yeah, that's one thing that this pay-per-view is known for. But, yeah, overall, just the show is just really, like, really mediocre. And just, yeah, nothing really stands out about the show. Like, none of the matches really are, like, anything that really stand out. So, yeah, overall, a pretty mediocre show. So, yeah, let me just talk about the matches on the show. Alright, so the first match of the night was Booker T versus Mark Henry. And, yeah, this really wasn't very good. I mean, yeah, for most of this match, it was really just, like, Mark Henry really, like, beating down Booker T. I mean, that was really what pretty much the majority of this match was just like Mark Henry was just like beating Booker T down, and yeah, it was just like leading into the show, like Mark Henry was just like doing that for like week after week, just continuing to beat down Booker T. So yeah, Booker T really didn't look very good in this rivalry and like in this match. Like Mark Henry really was like beating Booker T down for the majority of this. And let's see, Mark Henry just was like dominating like this whole thing. Really, he was just like hitting like a bunch of his moves on Booker T, and then like Booker T then was like making a little bit of a comeback. Like Booker T got in a few moves here, and yeah, this really was like pretty slow paced and just really like not very good. Just like not really interesting. And, like, it was pretty boring, to be honest, just seeing Mark Henry just dominating Booker T for pretty much this entire match. And then, like, at the end of this match, like, Mark Henry was, like, going to charge up Booker T in the corner, but Booker T moved out of the way. And then Booker T hit a scissors kick on Mark Henry, and then Booker T got the pin, and Booker T won. So, yeah, I thought that was just, like, a pretty weak way for Booker T to win. Just, like, with one scissor... Well, yeah, it was, like, the second scissors kick that he gave Mark Henry in the match, but yeah, it was just like that one thing that Booker T did after Mark Henry missed that charge at him, and he just gave him one scissors kick and got the pin. So yeah, I really did think that that was a pretty weak way for Booker T to win this match, honestly. And yeah, the match really just was not very good. Uh, I give the match like a star and a half. Yeah, really not a very good way to start off the show. And then next up, like, Mick Foley was like coming out because, yeah, he was like, this was like around the time when like Stone Cold was like quote unquote gone from the company because, yeah, the previous month at Survivor Series, like, his team lost that elimination match and Stone Cold like lost his job and stuff. Then yeah, Mick Foley was just like bringing around a petition at the shows to like say they want Stone Cold back and stuff, and then yeah, he was just like celebrating like how many signatures that petition had with Stacey Keibler, and then yeah, Randy Orton and Ric Flair then came out, and then yeah, and then yeah, next up we had like the Intercontinental title on the line, RVD defending against Randy Orton. This wasn't originally supposed to happen so early, but yeah, Mick Foley decided that since Randy Orton came out, the match was going to be now, and yeah, Mick Foley was special referee for the match. And I guess this was like a pretty good match right here. I mean, yeah, it was like pretty good, but it wasn't great. I mean, for RVD and Randy Orton standards, I guess like this match definitely was not as good as they probably could have pulled off, but it was still like a pretty good match, I guess. I mean, yeah, it had like a lot of good spots in it. It like they both like hit their a lot of their moves and in the match, yeah, there were like several occasions in this match where Ric Flair was trying to interfere in the match, but Mick Foley like stopped Ric Flair from interfering, and yeah, they like hit a lot of their big moves in the match. Randy Orton like hit an elevated spike DDT on RVD, and then yeah, RVD like hit some of his moves in like the Rolling Thunder and crossbodies and stuff, and his like educated feet with his heel kicks and stuff. And yeah, this was a pretty good back and forth match. Yeah, was like a pretty good match overall. Not great, but pretty good. Yep. And then like at one point in this match, like Ric Flair like was gonna like try to go after RVD with like I think he had like brass knucks on his hand or something as RVD was on like the turnbuckle, and then Mick Foley like just like nailed Ric Flair and knocked him off the ring apron, and then like Randy Orton then like caused RVD to fall off the turnbuckle, and then Randy Orton hit an RKO on RVD and got the pin, and Randy Orton won the Intercontinental title. And then, of course, after this, like, this was, like, one of the reigns, like, Randy Orton's title reign here was really one of the big reigns that really did, like, really elevate the Intercontinental title back up to, like, how it used to be, like, back in, like, the 80s and 90s, where it really did, like, make a guy, like a guy, like, rise to the main event status and stuff. And, yeah, this Randy Orton's title reign, of course, like, was one of the reigns that really did, like, really, like, brings some prestige back to the Intercontinental title. So yeah, that was like one of the best. That was like one of the highlights about this was that it really did give Randy Orton a really good reign, and it did rise him to the main event status and stuff. And yeah, it was like a pretty good match. I give it like 3.5 stars. And then next up we had Chris Jericho and Christian versus Trish Stratus and Lita in what Eric Bischoff referred to as the Battle of the Sexists Intergender Tag Team match. And, yeah, despite the fact that this idea really did sound really bad, and just, like, the gimmick, giving it a gimmick name was really stupid, and, like, you would expect this match to really, like, not be very good, and just, like, Chris Jericho and Christian basically just beating down Lita and Trish for basically this entire match. This match was actually, like, a pretty decent match. I mean, I don't know if I can actually go far to say it was good, but it turned out better than I think people were really expecting for this. I mean, this wasn't really like Chris Jericho and Christian like just dominating the whole thing. Like, Lita and Trish actually were on offense for like a majority of the match. Like, this was like going around the time like uh, Chris Jericho was like starting to like really like form like a bond or something with Trish, and like when this like turned into like a bet between Chris Jericho and Christian on who could like hit on like Trish or Lita first, then like it started to like cause a little bit of animosity, and like Trish was like really hurt by it. And in this match, like Chris Jericho really didn't actually want to hurt Trish and stuff, but yeah, Trish was like going after Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho was just like trying to hold Trish down to try to calm her down and stuff. But yeah, Trish was just continuing to go after Chris Jericho, and then yeah, Lita and Christian then went at it, had it and stuff, and yeah, it actually like did turn out better than I think people really were expecting for this. And uh yeah, and yeah, it was just like kind of back and forth. Lita and Trish actually did have a lot of offense in on the match. Yeah. At one point, like Trish tried to do what she like does with like her like swing her legs and pull the person like on the turnbuckle back into the ring and stuff. Tried to do that with Chris Jericho, but yeah, Chris Jericho was able to like counter and just push Trish back. Yeah, Chris Jericho of course like didn't want to hurt Trish at all here, and like one as Trish and Christian were the two legal ones in the match. Like at one point as Christian was on the outside of the ring, like Chris Jericho was like just trying to really like say talk to Trish and stuff, and yeah, Trish was like just trying to go after Chris Jericho and stuff, and then like as Chris Jericho was just like trying to hold Trish back, then Christian eventually then ended up rolling up Trish and pinning her, and yeah, Chris Jericho and Christian then got the win, but yeah, as Christian was celebrating, like Chris Jericho really was just like having this like really like concerned look on his face at Trish, because like he really didn't seem to care very much that he won. He was just like really like trying to really like it was like he really did have like a real like interest in Trish, and he seemed like he was really feeling bad about everything that went down. And of course, like this was like lead like through the next few months, like with that love triangle between, well, not really a love triangle, but like that triangle with Chris Jericho, Christian, and Trish, and it would eventually like of course lead to WrestleMania 20 and stuff with the match with Jericho and Christian, and then with like Trish turning on Chris Jericho and joining with Christian and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, this match actually like I'm not sure if I can actually call it good, but it actually did like deliver. I think like it was like turned out better than people were probably expecting. I give it like 2.5 stars. Yeah. And then up next we had Shawn Michaels versus Batista, and yeah, I thought that this was it was good overall. I mean, nothing great or anything, like nothing special about it, but it was good. I mean, yeah, nothing really memorable about this. It was just like just solid in ring action. I mean, it was just like really like yeah, it was solid. Nothing memorable, but solid. Yeah. Yeah, it was just like kind of a back and forth match between the two, and yeah, it was yeah, nothing like too spectacular, but yeah, it was just fine for what it was. And yeah, and then like at the end of this match, like Batista was like, I think just hitting Shawn Michaels with a bunch of spine busters and stuff, and like as Batista was like attempting a Batista bomb on Shawn Michaels, Shawn Michaels then like escaped it, and then like hit Batista with the sweet chin music, and then like he like pinned Batista, but it was like in that same situation. You remember like on that last episode of Raw in 2003 where like Shawn Michaels like was laying on Triple H on his back with both his shoulders were also down for the count and stuff, and yeah, it ended up like being considered a draw. That was like kind of what happened here too, where Shawn Michaels after he hit the switch of music on Batista, Shawn Michaels like fell on top of Batista on his back, and his shoulders were on the canvas, and like it was counted. But then like Batista like ended up like getting his shoulder up or something before the 3 count and stuff. But yeah, Shawn Michaels was still declared the winner of the match, and and yeah, afterwards, like, Batista just was, like, really pissed off because, yeah, he was just, like, really believing that he was the winner of the match since he got his shoulder up and stuff, but yeah, but Shawn Michaels was still declared the winner of the match. So, yeah, a little bit of controversy there, but the match overall, it was nothing special, but it was a solid little match. It was good. good, I guess. I give it 3 stars. And then, like, next up, it was supposed to be a match between Maven and Matt Hardy, but, like, as those guys were coming out, they were then, like, fighting on the outside of the ring, and then, like, Matt Hardy threw Maven into the ring, and then Batista just, like, viciously attacked Maven after, and then, like, hit a huge Batista bomb on Maven. And then, the referee just then said that Maven just couldn't compete, and yeah, the match just ended up being canceled. So, yeah, that was just a canceled match right there. And then next up, we had a tag team turmoil for the World Tag Team Championship. And this really was not good at all. I mean, I think this match just really does show, like, how, like, the tag team division at this time really was not very good. Just the tag division really was, like, pretty weak at this time. I mean, you had, like, a few, like, good tag teams here, but a lot of them just really were, yeah, the tag team division just really wasn't very good at this time. I mean, in this match you had tag teams like, there was Garrison Cade and Mark Jindrak, Val Venus and Lance Storm, Test and Scott Steiner. So, yeah, some pretty, like, yeah, the tag teams in this match really weren't very good. And, yeah, it started off with, like, La Resistance against Hurricane and Rosie, and Hurricane and Rosie, like, eventually did eliminate La Resistance. And then, like, just right after that, the next two entered were Mark Jindrak and Garrison Cade, and then they quickly eliminated Hurricane and Rosie. Yeah, and then, yeah, Val Venus and Lance Storm were next, and yeah, this just really was a pretty boring one to sit through, especially considering the teams that they had in this. Yeah, and then, yeah, it eventually then, like, it seemed that at the end, like, the Dudley Boys, who were the tag team champions going into this, actually had the match won after they supposedly eliminated the last team in the match, Test and Scott Steiner. But after they did, then Eric Bischoff then just came out and said there was one more team, which of course ended up being Ric Flair and Batista. And yeah, Ric Flair and Batista then just then beat down the Dudley Boys for like a minute, and then yeah, they ended up like getting the win, and then Ric Flair and Batista became the World Tag Team Champions. So yeah, this tag team turmoil just really was not good. It was boring. The teams weren't good. Yeah, a bad match, and it just really does show like how the tag team division really wasn't very good at this time. I give this match like a 1 star. And up next, there was the women's title on the line. Molly Holly defending against Ivory. I didn't even know Ivory was still in the WWE at this time. I mean, I thought she was gone like long before this. I thought like they got rid of her by like 2001 or something. I mean, they really weren't doing anything with her at this time. This match really was just like, this was 4 minutes. Nothing happened really. I mean, I just really don't remember anything from this match, really. I mean, it just like I said, just lasted a few minutes. Nothing happened. Just, yeah, Molly Holly got the win. So, yeah, like, I don't even know, was this like a last minute match made or something? I don't remember this match actually being made for the event or anything. So, yeah, I guess like that was just like a buffer match or something to put something between the tag match and the tag team turmoil and the main event. So yeah, I guess it was just used as a buffer match. I give it, I don't know, like half a star. And then we got the main event, which was the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Goldberg defending against Triple H and Kane. I guess this was, it was an alright triple threat match. I mean, I'm not really sure why they put Kane into this match. I mean, I guess it was just because they really didn't really know what to really do with Kane at this time, since, like, he just came off the feud with Shane McMahon and what happened with him and Undertaker at Survivor Series also. And since Undertaker was out this time, I guess they just had to do whatever they could with Kane, and I guess they decided to just use him as, like, a third guy in the World Championship match here. rather than like giving us another Triple H versus Goldberg match. And yeah, this was like an alright match, I guess. I mean, there really wasn't anything that memorable that happened in this match. Just yeah, yeah, this match started like basically acting as a handicap match with both Kane and Triple H going after Goldberg, and Goldberg fought both of them off. And yeah, like Kane like was like going after Goldberg for this match, and like Triple H was just like standing back for like some points in this match, and he was like just trying to pick the bones whenever he saw an opportunity to. And yeah, Kane eventually at one point then, with the help of Triple H, he chokeslammed Goldberg through the announce table. You want stuff, yeah? And eventually, like as like Kane and Triple H were like forming their alliance with each other against Goldberg, Triple H eventually ended up turning on Kane. And yeah, then like Kane and Triple H started going at it. At one point, they were starting to fight up the rampway, and Kane ended up like chokeslamming Triple H onto the rampway. And yeah, Kane and Triple H then just went at it for a little while as Goldberg was just like out after he went through the announce table. Yeah, and eventually like as Triple H and Kane were brought back to the ring, Goldberg then like hit a spear on Kane and eventually like hit a spear on Triple H. H and stuff, yeah. And yeah, as like Goldberg was trying then to pin Triple H, Kane ended up like breaking the pin, and ended up like choke slamming Goldberg or something, and then like the other members of Evolution all like came out and they were like trying to go after Triple H, not Triple H, Kane and Goldberg, and yeah, Goldberg like ended up like fighting off of Batista, Ric Flair and Randy Orton, and then yeah, Triple H then eventually like gave Goldberg a low blow and Kane chokeslammed Goldberg, and then like Batista then just pulled Kane out of the ring, and then that allowed Triple H to pick the bones and pin Goldberg, and then yeah, Triple H regained the World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, of course like everyone's complained about what Triple H has done, burying the former WCW talent. I mean, he already did it to Goldberg at SummerSlam, and yeah, here he did it again. And yeah, this was just like shelved, like yeah, all the former WCW talent. Yeah, Triple H basically like buried 4 of them in 2003 with like, Scott Steiner, Booker T, Kevin Nash, and Goldberg. So yeah, people have complained about that, so I really don't think I need to say anything about it. But then, yeah, and then like the last shot of the show just showed like all 4 members of Evolution just standing at the entranceway with the holding all the titles because yeah, it's like they won all the titles on the night. Yeah, Orton won the Intercontinental title. Batista and Triple H won Batista and Ric Flair won the tag team titles, and then Triple H won the World Heavyweight title. So yeah, this pay-per-view really was just the night of Evolution, really. So yeah, if it was just like an alright triple threat match, I give it like, I don't know, 2.5 stars. So overall, the show, I give it about, I don't know, a 5 out of 10, I guess. I mean, there were like a couple of good things on, well, yeah, it was, yeah, you had like a couple of good matches on the show with like the IC title match and Shawn Michaels versus Batista, and the Battle of the Sexists was like better than expected. Heck did, but yeah, there was really just like not a whole lot of good on the show, and yeah, like I said, this just really was just like all of Raw's pay-per-views in 2003, this was a pretty mediocre pay-per-view. So yeah, I really wouldn't recommend this show. Yeah, alright, so yeah, that does it for my review of Armageddon 2003. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.